Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is another episode of Detroit The Dark Reflection. As you know, lately, the Priscus has sent out a message to all the Canaanites of Detroit. The situation in the city is growing dire. Priscus feels that it's perhaps time that he steps up and help reinforce the spines of individual Canaanites who have shown promise and who he hopes could lead the city back to the state of strength it used to be. From the perspective of one Father Rex Dart, you've had your phone misplaced, perhaps you were busy, but at some point in the evening you do see that Priscus has sent you a message. And this message is very simple. He asks you to come to the Motor Inn. Sorry, not the Motor Inn, the Motor City Casino Hotel. And there is a. He'll leave you the directions to which room to come towards. And yeah, he specifies no time, but you are free to come at your leisure.
Um, I try to get there as soon as possible. I show up uh, in my suit. I carry a briefcase of some basic ritual items, just in case. I show up in my armored car, and I give a notice to my ghouls and my pathmates to where I'm going, when I should be backish.
when you arrive to uh, when you arrive to the casino, you will get your you'll get a valet. He'll offer to park your car for you. I don't know if you want to let him do that or what. But as you enter the casino, as you enter the hotel part of the casino, you I guess you know what you follow directions. Maybe you walk past the concierge. No one's really going to stop you. And as you make your way up to the hotel room, there's a door. You can knock on it, and should you do so, a woman who you recognize by now, being a retainer, a ghoul of the Priscus, will answer the door for you. Well, good evening, Father. She'll say, "Please come in. You're expected."
Good evening. Thank you. I enter.
You see, you see the Priscus. He's actually standing in kitchen area. The room's rather open. There's really not that many walls dividing the different partitions from the living room and the bedroom and such. So he's standing in the little kitchenette area, and to your surprise, looks like he's actually preparing food. Ah, Father Dot, welcome. Thank you. Please come here. Go grab a seat. As he points to the opposite of the counter.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry this is a little unexpected.
It's all right. I've been having guests all night. I must admit, the Archbishop had the talent for gathering people together in a timely fashion.
Hmm. Those are words.
I'm sorry, say it again?
I said those are words.
Hmm. So, Father Dart, I want to ask you, are you aware of the little crisis our city is facing?
You're going to have to be way more specific. There have been several different crises, that have been happening over the last few months within the city and within the outlines of the city. There have been notable, horrible problems.
Well, I'm sure you know that the Archbishop has been presumed dead, that he has met his final death, yes?
I have felt the paniculum snap as I was 9 steps in a paniculum with him.
That must have been a very harsh blow.
It was a test of faith.
There is an inquisitor in the city. He is looking into the matter at hand regarding the Archbishop's disappearance, his presumed death. It seems that there is perhaps a infernal hand or a heretical hand at work that may have been the Archbishop's undoing. As another member of the Sabbat was there to witness the aftermath of, from what I gather, was perhaps a battle. It seems that there may have been a heretic or infernalist that has challenged the Archbishop. Still, these are my assumptions, and from what I gather, the facts are still unclear.
These are not really assumptions. There has been some kind of unholy to the Dark Father presence. There have been some where I've questioned their faith. There have been others where I have believed their faith to be not of what is ordained by the Sabbat. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility for there to be heretics, for there to be those who commune with demons within this city. It would not shock me in the slightest if they were the ones responsible.
Do you have evidence of these people who you may suspect?
If I had evidence, it would have already been brought in front of the Inquisition. I would have offered my mind to be used like a Rolodex for their benefit.
That is reassuring that you're proactive. You'll see the Priscus is he's like basically like chopping up meat. He's kind of like preparing food, as I said. It looks like he's making some kind of like meat ravioli from scratch. Just throwing that out there.
You seem to be cooking human food.
Oh yes, yes. My ghoul does need to eat, and sometimes I like to eat from them. So what I put into them, I'd rather prepare by hand.
It's an interesting way of looking at things.
Yes, the no disrespect, Father Dart, but you Americans eat so unhealthy. But forgive me, your feeding habits are not why I brought you here.
All right. You do know my path, do you not?
I don't think you've made it clear to me.
I am on path of the feral heart.
Ah, yes, a harmonist. I have met some in my time.
It would be very difficult for me to eat unclean American food. Even if it was eaten by lesser cattle.
There are.
So I assure you, you are correct in saying there are many American foods that stretch the word, but not all of us are so sinful.
To me, it's not a matter of sin, just taste and pragmatism. But of course, to each his own. Some do like that greasy, smoky taste. Me, I prefer the fresh thing.
I don't blame you. There shouldn't need to be a chemist to explain to me what was inside of them.
If have you ever had a liking for wine in your mortal days?
Yes.
Hmm. If you take your time and you plan whom you feed from well ahead of time, when you drink from them, especially if you're gifted in the second sight of Auspex, you may find how how minute the difference of taste is in the blood of your victims when you eat.
I will keep that in mind.
It could save your own life one day.
Possibly.
But I'm sorry, we've gotten off topic.
Yes.
With not only the disappearance of the Archbishop, the burning of his church, as I'm sure you know, has left
Yes.
our library. Well, we are without one now.
That is correct. And I have made a few copies, but they are not a true replacement.
I have already tasked one member of the Sabbat, whom was the instigator of the fire, to recover what he can. I don't think I need to ask you to take a special interest. I'm sure your own interests would lead you to do so. But
Pray, may I?
Hmm?
I
Go
beg forgiveness for asking such a favor and to interrupt you.
No, please go on.
Was the Sabbat member who burned down the library in that church?
That would be Brother Monroe.
I will do my very best to not forget his name for this. He is a brother of the Sabbat, and I will love him as such. And
As I'm
everything
sure
that
you-
is held with that.
The Priscus just smiles. He catches your drift. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. But for the time being, let him find what he can. It would only be a boon for all of us. Although, I would not put it against you to check over his work.
I would love to wait for his mistakes.
There are
And I applaud you and thank you for giving me the opportunity to move through his actions with a fine-tooth comb for the set.
Of course. Now more than ever, we must try to work together. There is another situation that leads into the one with the Archbishop. Bishop Young has, well, we think she has been taken in by Inquisition for questioning under the guise of heresy.
Whatever the Inquisition finds is truth.
Of course, but temporarily, that leaves this situation. The city is without an archbishop or a formal bishop. I think I can confide in you, you being Lord Shiloh's priest, that I have recommended he perhaps step up and claim the title of a bishop and carve out the diocese. Do you think this would be wise?
To be honest, I am biased. I've baldried with him constantly. He is my Ductus. I know him personally.
But let me ask you,
But of course, I give him a glowing and truthful recommendation. And even if he were to fail somehow, it'll be for the good of the set, for everyone to see. Those who want too much and are given too quickly have what's coming to them. There is no way you can go wrong with his choice.
that is true. So I'm glad that you have seconded his recommendation.
I second his recommendation. Yes.
Good. This brings me to the next matter. Mac 10. He was there with Shiloh and yourself, I understand, the night Bishop Young was taken in. Him no longer being a charge of the Archbishop, I have taken Mac under my wing now as a Templar. From here on out, until the city is consolidated, until we've established our defenses and the new council, Mac will be running reconnaissance to set up the targets that we need to take to finish the crusade that Young has prematurely started. As I said to Shiloh, I am not going to suggest you refrain from running your own reconnaissance. However, if you choose to assist Mac, that would be a great help as well. If you do wish to do your own investigations, would you be so kind as to screen them through me? This way, how do you Americans say, no one steps on each other's shoes?
That reminds me. Before all of these noteworthy Sabbat members expired, I was revealed, without provocation or anyone even asking, some of their affiliations. If I may be so bold as to ask you so bluntly and directly, with whom do you stand within the sect?
You see that the Priscus kind of like stops midstream as he's manipulating one of the raviolis as he was just about to like toss it in the pot. Well, you ask me honestly, and I'll tell you truthfully. My affiliation, that is with the consistory. And hold on. Gotta roll something here. That's manipulation subterfuge. If you could break that with the a perception empathy, I'll let you have it.
I don't think I can beat that.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your academics and occult rating?
Academics 2 and occult 3.
What's your intelligence?
5.
All right. Given the combinations of your knowledges and with your status as a priest, you feel like the Priscus is like being Captain Obvious. Well, no shit, you're with the fucking consistory.
I ask to be, again, blunt, because those who expired, some of them, who will remain nameless for both of our health, were Black Hand. Now, the Inquisition has come into our city. You understand my feeling for having one side who is notoriously well kept in keeping their secrets, and their worst kept secret being their feelings on the Inquisition, and vice versa. I worry these subsets, considering how much they keep secret, whether or not this is a deeper misunderstanding that may or may not even be related to demonic influence or heresy. I am just asking because I feel it needs to be kept as an open question, especially for the Inquisition to consider internally, because it is not a good look for the Inquisition to be able to be questioned.
Let me understand you. You question if
It is
this
not a
may...
question from my end. It is an open question that is available by viewing what has happened. Keep my personal name out of this.
Oh, of course, this conversation is only between us. Well, there is, as I've discovered in my time, there's no love between the two sections of the Hand and the Inquisition.
Absolutely. It's the
However,
worst kept secret in the Sabbat.
However, I would ask you to review the Code of Milan and who has their name written in that code and who doesn't.
I understand completely, but the appearance still remains. And like I have said earlier, to those bishops who were kind enough to still live, there have been tests of faith in this city. There have been those who have not been as willing or sometimes able to attend many rituals. There should be a pointed question that we continue to ask our brothers and sisters, as well as those who are blessed enough by Cain to have status above that. I understand that we are all equal, and that some are more equal than others. I am not trying to point a finger, but I am saying, as a priest, it is very easy for some of us to lose our way because of the appearances that are happening that others may not consider. It is more of a warning of tests of faith that will happen after this, if left unchecked.
Well, tell me, Father Rex, give me this scenario in plain words. Are you saying that the Inquisition may select certain members, especially those who have certain opposing political agendas, and isolate them from seats of power?
I would never tell the Inquisition or the Black Hand what to do or how to do things. I can only say what people are seeing and how some may interpret them, and how that may not be best for the sect, when that is not what's happening, but what they see and they have chosen to interpret.
Well, Father Dart, what would you do in order to appease such a situation? If you had everything at your disposal.
If I had everything at my disposal. The Vaulderie is a quick and dirty pledge. Necessary, important. Sabbat is almost useless without it, but it is not the answer to everything. Bread and circuses still need to happen for government to still have their people. When was the last time this city was able to celebrate and have a distraction? Things are very tense right now. There are a lot of people who are dying with very important names. People with much more firepower are moving in and telling people what to do. The pressure needs to be released.
I think I see what you mean. Now, this pressure, is this a pressure coming from the congregation or the pulpit, if you understand my analogy?
I reiterate, I am thinking for the brothers and sisters of the Sabbat, since I would never tell those who are most equal what to do, how to do it, or presume that I know what is best for them. I can tell you what I see from our brothers and sisters. Mistakes are being made. That only happens when people are anxious and do not know when the right time is.
I agree, which again is why I have asked. Well, I have asked Mac to do what I can as far as my capacity.
Mac is an excellent choice for a Templar. He is perfect for the field. He loves spreading bullets. He is best used in that way. It is giving a farmer a hoe. It is a perfect combination. They belong together.
But as I'm saying, for now, though the crusade is very crucial, as you say, mistakes are being made. This pressure we cannot release onto an enemy when we are so scattered, so disorganized. Would you agree?
I would say that that is an excellent observation, my Priscus.
And Mac, giving, well, for all his merits, certain of his flaws, having him be on a long-term reconnaissance until we can have a clearer picture of what the enemy would not be ill-advised, would it?
It would be an excellent idea, my Priscus.
So,
that is the best I have heard in some time. Your plans for the set are strong and long thought.
So, if we turn back and look at Detroit, this pressure again, as you say, as I try to understand, brothers and sisters, they want power. They're hungry for it. And now I can kind of sense that, yes, the idea of the Inquisition being brought into the city, I have seen this in my own time when rivals will try to, as you say, snipe each other by pointing the accusatory finger at one another. And only through the rituals can we be able to observe which brother is in good standing, no?
I agree completely.
Father, what is your familiarity with our Octoritus Rite? How proficient are you?
I am proficient in all of the Octoritus Rite.
That is good. And what about the Ignobilis Rite? How far developed are you along these particular rites?
Sadly, I have left that deeper, as I only have 13 of the Octoritus Rite in my mind at all times. But the Ignobilis Rite, I have kept 9 close to myself, and 1 of my own.
One of these nights I'd like to compare notes to you. However, there's something I would like to impart with you, a gift. Since I see that your mind and heart is in the right place, and I can't be everywhere at once, and I think it would be best if such a right was shared from the ranks of the brothers and sisters and not quite officials as myself.
An excellent thought. You- Your ability to think for the set strengthens my resolve.
There is a right, one that was shared with me many years ago from a brother whom had work with the Inquisition, not a formal member, but as I believe you Americans say, an outsourced contractor, still a member of the Sabbat, but just paid for his capabilities at the time. This right, it functions very much like the sermons of Cain, but there are a few accoutrements that are added to it. When it comes to heresy, a heretic, now let's be certain, there are two types of heretics. The ones that are simply misguided and have been miseducated. And then there are the true believers. It is much easier to
A
bring
very
back.
dangerous choice of words. I understand. But
Yes, there have been, unfortunately, too many brothers and sisters abroad and here who have been simply miseducated, that were not properly instructed in the ways of Cain. Their hearts were all in the right place, but just 1 or 2 degrees of a different catechism could lead them down a road. They can be saved. However,
very few can be saved.
yes. However, it's the true believers. They they cannot be saved. However, flushing them out could be a little easier with this right, Tay. You see, in the presence of true faith, one who speaks the right sermon, the right words, and uses the devices I will show you, it will put a crisis upon them with their faith. And it may just expose their hand long before the Inquisition could get to them. Not that you should deter them from the Inquisition, but it is how you say a feather in your cap when you yourself can expose one. Plus, it serves to make a much more confident judgment upon a brother or a sister before you turn them to the Inquisition.
One can never trust oneself or others. All we can do with the Inquisition is give them our minds, and hopefully they can tell us what the truth is. Whenever someone tells you that they know, that is of the utmost suspect.
Of course, of course. But in our vigilance, we should not let everything pass us by mere skepticism.
I agree.
Father Dart, what I am willing to share with you, yes, it would be a great responsibility to entrust you with. It's up to you if you wish to choose to take this power and responsibility with you. I will not force it on you, but if you wish for the tools to better the sect through your capabilities and me, I would recommend this.
I would never be so power hungry. I trust you, my Priscus. If you say this is a tool that I need, I will use it. If this is a tool that you say I need to use carefully, I will use my best judgment. But if I do not need this tool, I will not ask for it. There is nothing that I require, because I am here for the sect. I am born for the sect, so I shall die for the sect. This is the will of Cain. Anything less is heretical.
Well said, brother, well said. There is one more thing I wish to ask of you, and this is a little bit more personal.
By all means, I have the audacity to ask you personal questions.
There is, I see, 3 packs that we can account on shortly. One being your own, you and the Murder Death Killers. Jean-Baptiste Assange of the All-Seeing Eye. He is a capable Doctus, though he needs to reconstitute his pack given time. He can do that. And you kind of see the Priscus like really like shake his head.
Father Dart just, he gives like, I can't get enough wrinkles on my face. I grimace when I hear that path mentioned.
I didn't say their name yet.
No, the one you mentioned previously.
Oh, the All-Seeing Eye? Yeah.
Yeah, but I need a black marker to make it even more wrinkles.
And then there is the Murder Hobos.
Consider that path name. That had to be uttered from your lips.
Say what?
I said, consider that path name that had to be uttered from your lips.
Yeah.
And how much dignity that brings to the sect.
But I could tell you, Father, as you were so keen to eye up who may be on whose side, I came to Shiloh with the proposition to back him if he wished to take a diocese. Yes?
Yes.
Who do you think the Inquisition would back? We know that the murder hobos are, for all their zealotry, they are true nodists.
Nodis, while they do love collecting things, unfortunately, and this is a personal interpretation of the path of Cain, lack a long-term disposition. They do not use ghouls, and the way they treat cattle is short-sighted. This will not extend many goals of the Inquisition, as longer roots require more blood to seep into them. So if someone had proper fervor to start a fire, to burn things clean, that would be a good emblem of the Inquisition. Perhaps even push an Inquisition of goal, especially if they were so fervent in their beliefs. They would even bring the torch to their other brothers, sacrificing things from the sect that could benefit them, or not, whether or not they were demonic or not. But sending the torch to so much, burning it to cinders through the ground. This is something the Inquisition holds as a badge of honor publicly. Privately, I can never say.
Mm.
We never know.
Of course, of course. What I personally fear is if the Inquisition decided to leave remnants of itself after they passed from the city, that remnant would coalesce into a diocese under the charge of the murder hobos.
That is
They
very, very possible.
they don't quite appreciate the finer things that life has to offer, such as you and I. They do not understand the pragmatic use of money, retainers, and the necessity of having to interact with the mortal world.
They've forgotten many aspects of the science of the blood and have taxed me greatly. There are many opportunities I had to benefit the sect, or instead I had to cover, conceal, and maintain a quiet that does not come naturally to me. But you are correct in mentioning material things catching my gaze. To grant you the same permissions you have given me, I have been part of the Order of St. Blaise for most of my time in this spot.
What Father X, what would you say if I proposed you claim a diocese?
That would not be best for the sect. There are many who share a different opinion than what I choose to express. As such, they would take that opportunity to gnash their teeth. This would cause dissent. Parting to be very private. I have the utmost confidence from you that I beg. The Tremere in this city could want many, many things. And to see as a niece who is quiet, who is reserved, who is capable of their holdings, would make a supple fruit to pluck from the tree, and perhaps grant them status that others would never consider, considering their fallings and failings of their clan progenitor.
I must admit that it must take a great deal of honesty and dignity to admit such a thing from you. And I don't think that you give yourself enough credit, but you are wise to suggest someone, anyone, because I think you could see far enough ahead that if the murder hobos were to become the linchpin of the Inquisition, it would not be the best for the city. But if they do not go unchallenged, if no one outshines them for their faith, then perhaps we have to deal with them. But I suppose there's enough for us to deal with completely on as it is.
Well, that has been the problem, is that they haven't been given too much, which has happened to other brothers and sisters of the sect. They haven't been spread too far, which has unfortunately happened to other paths in the past. Now, I would never consider purposely destroying, dismantling, or even hamstringing any path of the Sabbat, so long as they weren't heretical. Because in this war, I have not heard of us killing an antediluvian in some time. I see a very large picture. And in that, we have been showing diminishing returns. While I do love freedom, I personally enjoy it very greatly. I have noticed the barbaric natures, no matter the path, have slowed the wheel of savant progress. The most recent antediluvian, inspired not by even our heavens, not by any of Cain's hands, but others who dream themselves important, who age, who gray, who wrinkle into dust, when we are eternal by the blessings of Cain. We have the greatest ability to wait for the moment when they make a mistake and snatch it from them. Like a human with a stick waiting by the river for a fish to just shove that little moment out of the river for the meal. The human will never swim as fast as the fish, but that stick in the right place will always catch the fish. I am playing the long game, and I don't expect to stop anytime soon. My Priscus.
You see the Priscus smile. That is good. I'm glad you have an appreciation for the virtues of patience. This is why I wish for us to fall back from the crusade. I expect that the Camarilla may make some exploratory incursion into Detroit.
To draw us out. To draw us out. They will use human pawns at any moment to make a significant wall to distract us.
Yes. And that comes to, I suppose, my next point. The city does need to be reassured. You and your pack have done great work, and I will not ask you to. Well, I suppose if Shiloh is going to be a bishop of good standing, he may need to spread the wealth amongst those who are in need as a show of allies. It always does a bishop good to have more than just his pack willing to come to his banner. However, in your own capacity, Father, would you be so kind as to preach this message to brothers and sisters you come across? For you are right. We have too many barbaric skullduggers that are willing to wade in the amounts of gore and blood and not make a city a proper kingdom for Cain at his return.
I will do my best, but it would ring more true if the upper echelons reminded those below them that the time to win battles has stopped. The time to win wars has begun.
Yes. If what would you think that
it would carry a heavier basket of fish than a man far taller than me.
Well,
my Priscus.
there are some agencies we do need to shore up. How did things work out with? Oops, sorry about that.
No, fine. I expected it to happen again. Just bash a fish head open.
Um, how goes your progress with the police agency?
They are opening their mouths, and that is giving me the opportunity I need to feed them Cain's sweet blessings, so that they are more malleable to our designs for the good of the sect.
I have been doing a little bit of digging myself, you know. Secrets? Secrets are wonderful weapons, wonderful tools to use against others. Oh, Melissa, here, I've shown you how to cook. I take this. I must show the father something. Come with me, father. I've been working on this for quite a while.
As you wish, my Priscus.
He's gonna lead you to the bedroom, and when he opens the door, you're gonna recognize a woman that's been basically handcuffed to the bed. This was the same girl that was the police commissioner's girlfriend when you saw them at the oh god, where were we that night? At the golf club.
Yes, that had thousands of Smeezy on it for some reason.
Yeah. And
Don't know explanation on that. Just one more thing to add to the crock pot.
yeah. You see that the Priscus is kind of smiling at himself.
My
Is-
Priscus.
Because although she's cuffed to the bed, she kind of like sits up and is like, "Oh, you've returned, my love. Who's this you brought? A friend of yours?" The Priscus will turn to you and say,
I will say 3 nights.
"Say what?"
I will say 3 nights? Question mark.
Oh, yes. Long done with. And even more. She has come under the sway of the gift of Cain's domination over her kind.
This is what we need the populace to understand us. This is what I wished more of our paths could have accomplished first, before all the bloodshed, the bashing, and the burning could scare away all the potential.
The person's gonna turn to this woman. My dear, this is my friend. What should I call her?
Call me Robert.
Darling, yes, this is Robert. Now, Robert was the friend I was telling you about, who maybe you can take him out on a double date with one of your friends. You know that sergeant's sister. Yes, the one that's unfortunately a bawd and unmarried. Yes, perhaps you can invite all of your girlfriends and Robert here can bring some of his friends. And just have a little party one of these nights, yeah. And she'll say, "Oh yes, that'd be great. That'd be great. But you can't let my husband know." Oh, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Yes, and she'll say, well, as soon as you let me loose and I can get to my phone. Oh no, in good time. We can do that later.
So the fun be then.
Mhm. The princess will kind of like turn his back to her and like put his arm over your shoulder. So look, when have this little double date of yours to set up, granted they're not directly policemen, but family members, cheating wives. I'm sure you'll know how to exploit this information to your better gain, no?
I understand.
Very well. Has anyone given you instruction into the ways of dominance?
No,
Would you care for that?
please. I accept all Kane's lessons.
You're gonna see the princess go over to the woman, and he kind of just like takes her by the chin, looks in her eyes. He whispers something that almost is inaudible to you, and then the next thing you know, like this woman starts like freaking out. She's screaming like, "Oh my God, where am I? What the hell's going on? Where am I?" He's petting her head, having his mouth like having his hand over her mouth. Come, father, come.
As you wish, Princess.
And you can kind of hear her muffled screams out of his hand. Now, the thing about dominating, it works on a very primordial sense. Humans are afraid of so many things. To begin dominating a human, you must understand fear. You must understand will to project your will and desire into their mind. Do you have any dots on intimidation?
Let's see. Intimidation. Yeah, 2 dots intimidation.
Perfect. All right. He's gonna remove his hand from her mouth, and he's gonna tell you, make her stop screaming. Yes, that's the roll.
Is it? I just guessed randomly. I actually don't know.
No, yeah, that's the roll.
Okay. Why are you screaming on such a comfortable bed?
Yeah, she kind of she stops screaming, but she's sobbing, and she says, "Please let me go. I don't know where I am. Who are you people?"
You had so many drinks out with us. We didn't even know where your car was. We had no choice but to take you home. Sleep on the floor by the TV while you took the bed.
You got 3 successes. You got 2 successes.
Yeah.
He says, but I don't remember anything. I don't even know how I met you guys. The person's going to lean into your ear and he's just going to tell you, just tell her, quiet. Shh.
Quiet.
You got it. 3 successes.
And that's a 4, 2, 6, and 10.
Yeah. I'm giving you the 4 because she's been broken. So.
Okay.
Yeah. She's broken.
Just trying to give me the 3. I appreciate that.
And yeah, you see that she like bites her lip. Tears well up in her eyes, but yeah, she's quiet. And let me see if I'm gonna roll some dice and see if the crystals can do this.
Yeah, don't let me roll dice; they won't come out very well.
Right.
Just the way of things.
Yeah. The Priscus tells her, come back to me, my love. Don't cry anymore. You don't have to worry. I will never leave you. And she'll blink. I don't know. Give me a perception occult roll.
Wow, you're really giving it out everything. Perception occult, not even perception empathy. 5 days.
Yeah, with that one success, what you see like a glaze come over her eyes. I'm gonna give it to you like this is unnatural. Like it's unnatural. It's not just a glaze of the tears. It's like you've seen almost like a part of the Priscus leave himself and attach it through her eyes. It's very faint, very quick, but you caught it. You see that she's returning back to the way she was when you first walked into the room. You can hear it in her voice.
You still there?
I'm still there.
I'm listening.
Yeah, well, she'll blank and say, "Oh, no, yes, Rob. I can set you up with any of my friends. We love to party."
I'm glad we could party together.
Just you know what? We can't go anywhere public, honestly, because like my husband, he's such like a big deal, and
You don't say.
yeah, police commissioner. I mean, he does his dirty little things. I do mine. We have a mutual understanding. Just don't get caught in public.
And no one's the wiser.
Exactly. Yes, of course, my dear. Of course. I would never let any harm come to you, Priscus says.
Beautiful. Bad life.
Yes, I will return, my dear. Let me escort them. And yeah. So the Priscus will bring you back to the kitchen. My gift to you and yours. I hope that you'll exploit this opportunity to the best of your capabilities. I will let you know when this opportunity comes. I'll make sure it's at least 3 nights ahead of time. So you have to come prepare.
Thank you for extending your such work for this fact.
Of course. Work is opportunity, and opportunity can be work.
What use is this about member who isn't working for this about?
As well, before I ask you to take your leave, there are some more members of the Sabbat that I need to have audiences with.
I see.
Our incursion on the military some nights back. I've gotten some reports that have come out of what has been discovered. There's something along the enemy that's lurking around. But given everything that's on our plate, I would suggest we keep a distance from them. It seems that we will be entering a sort of cold war. This sect called the Prometheans, I do not quite understand what connections they have to the military, why the military so openly embraced them, and vice versa. But it seems that our immediate destruction is not at the top of their priorities. It would be unwise for us to fight 2 battles on 2 fronts while our own base in flames. Yeah.
My Priscus, Why consider these two battles when these could be two enemies who realize each other and confront?
That is a good consideration.
The Camarilla hates competition, loves a monopoly. And these Prometheans, whether they're young or old, is irrelevant. They're not Camarilla.
Do you think we should extend to them some sort of diplomacy then?
That is a thought. Another would to be slipping some delicate information of each to each other so that they may ready their arms to defend themselves from other incoming threats, since they know the Sabbat. They do not know of these others. Better the devil you know. Imagine it, the Camarilla coming to us, insisting that we help them behead an enemy. Imagine these Prometheans coming to us, trying to treat with us against this Camarilla onslaught that is taking out their deep backings.
That is an idea. We that need to find something each one would want in order to facilitate a desire to side with us. Suppose, I say, for example, if a member or a facsimile of a member of the Prometheans were to be caught in an attack on the Camarilla's territory, perhaps some evidence of the Camarilla sticking their noses in the places where it doesn't belong within the Prometheans' realm.
The Camarilla loves it when the humans have no concept of the vampiric race. The Prometheans do not seem to share the same edge, as they have allied with this military. They seem to know each other. They wouldn't be so silent. The Camarilla are quick to snuff out those who have no secrets.
Ah, yes. I think I see now. A masquerade breach of such proportions that would make it so that the Camarilla would have to come into Detroit to investigate such a case.
Brilliant, Mephistus.
But then that means only one thing. We would need to expose the military in such a way that they can't bury the secret without the Camarilla catching wind of it.
It would be a shame if some of these military members were to be turned and start burning in front of their precious camels live on their human-made satellites. It would be dreadful for the Camarilla. They would be quick to react, and possibly off balance. Some would even say overwhelmed. Perhaps they would make a mistake for being under such pressure.
Indeed. This is giving me much to think about, Father. I will talk with some other brothers and sisters, those who I deem capable of them, of course.
Of course.
And
Especially-
I will ask you to return, perhaps when I can convene a capable team to handle this. Until then, I will ask you to take your leave. Again, I must have audience with other brothers and sisters. With one tip of advice I would like to leave with you before you go. Because of our incursion on that military base, we did walk away with many tools, many weapons at our disposal. May I suggest, if you find it appropriate for you and your pack, that perhaps you outsource and outfit yourselves with some extra protection, whether they be new or mortal or such.
I will be sure to inform my Ductus of such advice. From what I hear, he deserves a promotion.
Oh, yes, yes. But of course, you know that this is the Sabbat. His promotion is only granted by the acquiescence and the will of his brothers and sisters. He has my blessing. Though, he will need to attract other brothers and sisters when, well, you know how the bloodbath works, yes?
Yes.
Then all Shiloh needs to do is find those who are willing to donate their blood into the bath. He can count on mine, as I'm sure he can count on yours.
Of course.
But you and I aren't enough.
No, that would be improper.
I suppose another Ductus, at least, to back up Shiloh would be good.
An excellent idea, my priestess.
God bless you, Melissa. You're burning the ravioli. How do you burn something it's submerged in water? Excuse me, Father Dart. I have to attend this.
Thank you, my priestess. And thank you for the fish.
Of course, of course. I'll let you show yourself.
He does so.
Last thing you hear is the Priscus scolding his ghoul in Italian. And yeah, okay. So with that, what does Rex do as he exits the casino?
He's going to get his car and find his Ductus.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Tune in again. This is Detroit, The Dark Reflection. Good night.